Hi, guys. So I am here with Shane from Totoniks, and you guys have heard me talk about this product a lot. We talked about it at Global when we first found it, and unfortunately, we're not able to work out a way to get it just yet. And then we found Shane again at Super Zoo, and he had a solution. So we placed our order and got our product in. And Totoniks is finally in, and we're lucky enough to have Shane with us today. And I wanted to bring him on here to tell you just directly about his product, kind of how you got started doing this. And you're so informative and have so much great information that I thought this would be perfect.
Yeah, well, Totoniks, here it is. It's finally in store. Whoops, I've got to learn how to stay on camera. And yes, so Alison and the team have been such great supporters for a long time. And at Global in March, they were super keen, but we were going through a process as a new brand of how do we supply in the US? Do we use a distributor? And we talked to a lot of distributors, but then in about June this year, we decided that actually we feel this product is better suited if we do it directly with our key partners and do it ourselves and support them. So that led us to Super Zoo in August, where finally we could take orders, and the product itself is now in the US. So hand-selected retailers, of which Alison and the team at All Pets Considered are for sure that. So how I got to be here and how the product got to be here is I've got a decade and a half of experience with a previous company that is a well-known New Zealand company making freeze-dried pet food. So I worked there 15 years and then decided that I think there's a very cool idea that I had, and I teamed up with the original founder of Canine Natural to bring something that we believe will help so many more dogs than what we were doing before. And what we were doing before was great. I was helping a lot of dogs, but it's just a different type of concept. Whereas this is one of the missing links, I think, in nutrition, and that is a hydrated, functional product that can go on top of what the animals are being fed on the daily. Typically, they're being fed, dry food products, whether that's a kibble or an air dried or a freeze dried. Generally, less than 10% moisture in those products. So pet parents out there have a choice. Well, where do they get the moisture into their dogs? How do they do that? There's a few products out there that are great and available, and things like bone broth and goat's milks, and I'm sure there's more products being thought of, but no one's doing blood. In fact, we say it's a bloody good idea. And whilst some humans might initially go, blood, dogs, it's in their DNA. They love it. And they're thanking us for it already by their attitude to the product and the health benefits. So it is sourced from New Zealand, made in New Zealand. And as you might tell by the accent, hopefully you can understand me, also New Zealanders behind the brand. So it's a very small company at the moment, privately owned, but we're very passionate about making a difference. So this here, as you see it hydrated, it comes in dried powder form. So it has a really good shelf life. It's made fresh every couple of days. This bottle itself has how to make it on there. And then if the camera captures that, this part here is essentially the feeding amount. So the bottle lasts 2 days. It's a quarter of a bottle on top of whatever food you're feeding. And then you'll see the benefit in the dog. Typically, we see them loving their food a lot more. Venison blood has a really important component in there called IGF-1, an insulin-like growth factor, which is amazing for things like recovery and repair. That naturally occurs in a venison blood product, so it's naturally available. We're not having to add anything like that. And dogs benefit. So in general, it's high protein, it's low fat, it's super tasty. In fact, I think the team might be...
I think there's some taste testing going on in a minute.
So that they weren't too keen, but I've come from last week I was over in California on the West Coast, and there's a great team there that one of the first retailers, just like Alison and the team, they got me to drink it. I hadn't drunk it before, and it's actually not too bad. So it's great for dogs, great for cats, and it seems to be great for the staff so far. Yeah.
Well, and one of the things that I was so taken with is that I had just read an article about venison. The iron produced by venison actually is more absorbable than a lot of other iron, and that it being really good for pets who might be anemic and things like that,
sure.
that this is a really good product for that. And we do have some requests coming in sometimes for anemic animals.
Well, 100%. I mean, absorption is a really key thing. Like, we're very lucky in that the founder of this company, together with myself and a small team, is also the founder of a well-known freeze-dried pet food. And he has a brother who, actually not far from here, where I am now, in Raleigh, Durham, his brother, Dr. Gary Bowers, was one of the leading research scientists. And so what that allows us to do is to have a chat to him, for example, about absorption. And a hydrated product, as opposed to simply a dry powder, that gets you better absorption right from the beginning as the dog is consuming it and drinking it. So not only is iron from venison more available, the method of consuming it as a hydrated functional beverage also helps with absorption. And speaking of absorption, like it's a 60% protein product on a dry matter basis, but that protein's coming from venison, which again is highly bioavailable animal protein as opposed to sort of a plant protein or something like that. So it's, you know, if you want to do a human analogy, it's like a protein drink for dogs, but it's got so much more than just a powdered protein in it.
Yeah, the real life good stuff, right?
Yes,
for sure.
Yeah.
So what got you into the pet industry?
Yeah, that's a great question. What got me into the pet industry? A dog. I lived abroad in my 20s. I lived in Poland, of all places. I never expected to be living in Poland. I speak Polish now, which seems a bit strange as somebody from New Zealand. However, I lived there and then came back to New Zealand in my 30s, bought my first house, and then finally, because I had a house and some property, I could get a dog, and then got myself a border collie. And I thought, well, okay, I love my dog. I want to do the best. What is the best? And I had no idea whether that would be a kibble, a wet food, or I didn't know. And so I got talking to the gentleman who started Totoniks with me, and also Canine Natural. And he talked to me about raw feeding. And I remember I said to him, can dogs eat raw food? And he said to me, have you ever seen a dog cook its food? I was like, no. And he said, nobody gets that question wrong. I'm like, you know what, that makes a lot of sense to me. So as a proud New Zealander, we have great food in New Zealand. I learned about the sense of raw feeding, so I started to raw feed my puppy. This was back in 2008, so I think my hair was a different color back then. And, you know, Canine Natural was a smaller company, and I was knocking on their door for probably about 6 months to a year going, come on, give me a job. I can take this outside of New Zealand, and you know, more dogs need to have it. So, and then finally, I had to sort of work there for a very small salary, and the rest of it was commission. But it was a great journey that I learned a lot about what truly makes a difference to a dog. And I love the fact that at the time, the company was very much about no compromise. It was about the dogs first and what was really important for them. And then, of course, the person who's buying the product, you know, had to be convenient and easy to use. So we were one of the very first companies in the US to market freeze-dried food for dogs. This was back in 2010, when the category didn't really exist too much. So everyone was telling us, great product, my dog loves it, but it is expensive. And that is just, unfortunately, the reality of that type of product. It's high in meat, and freeze-drying is quite a costly process. Yeah. So that sort of got me into the industry. It's my own dog here.
No.
He's on me for a long time, but so he's no longer around. But on purpose, over the years, I have rehomed numerous shelter dogs. They've gone from a shelter to a home where they just get completely the best food. And then over the last sort of couple of years, I had an idea in my mind that we can help more dogs, like I probably said in the beginning of the video. We can help more dogs by getting this onto what most of them are being fed, which is typically not raw food, because raw food is a bit of a challenge. It can be frozen. There's different beliefs. But if the food's dry, dogs need to be getting 1 ounce of moisture per pound of body weight per day, just like we should drink 8 glasses of water, I think it might be. So 1 ounce of water per pound. Are we getting our dogs 1 ounce of water per pound per day? Do we know? How do we control that? If it's just having water available in a bowl, then we really don't know. But But this gives you a lot more control because it's in their DNA. They love it. So you could literally pour that in the bowl and they'll drink it. They won't do that typically with water. So it gives you a lot of control, gives you a lot of peace of mind. If the dogs don't necessarily love their food, putting this on top also gets them consuming that food. They clean the bowl for you. So it's a very, there's nothing we've put in there to try and entice a dog because we've put blood in there.
It's already in there.
That's right. So for those that haven't tried it, just cut your finger a wee bit and see what happens. I'm not encouraging that, but you'll know that the dog will come along and go, what have you got there? So it makes a lot of sense to them. So I got into the industry because of my dog. I learned a lot thanks to a gentleman called Jeff Bowers. And Jeff and I have teamed up again to bring you what the industry is saying is the most innovative thing they've seen in over a decade, which is quite flattering. And I do believe it's true. However, there's a lot of great products out there in the industry. But dogs are voting with their attitude to the food. They're voting with how they feel.
Their appetite.
And people are seeing a difference. We have a starter pack that gets you equipped with the bottle and it lasts 2 weeks. And within that 2 weeks, people see such a difference that they can't quite believe it. So we just say, trust your dog. And if it makes sense, give it a go. If it doesn't make sense, don't give it a go, but trust your dog and their attitude.
And so the way you have it is you have the starter packs that come with the bottle.
Yes.
And then they come with the freeze-dried sleeves.
Yes.
And then you have the refill sets that just come with the freeze-dried sleeves.
Correct. So the way we equip people with the bottle is the starter pack, like Alison mentioned. And in the starter pack, you've got enough of these little individual packets that last 2 weeks worth of daily usage, assuming that you put it on the food in the morning, and then in the evening, and then the morning and the evening the following day. So the starter pack gets you the bottle. The bottle itself, whilst you guys can't sort of feel that through the screen, it is a what's called a borosilicate GL45 laboratory bottle, which means it's strong glass, very resistant to high temperature, low temperature. It's got the feeding amounts on here, as I said, and it's got a very good seal so that when you need to shake it, you're shaking it in the bottle, not over the lounge. And then once you've done your 2 weeks of the starter pack, you've got the bottle, and then you just would have a refill, and the refills last 1 month. Assuming you use it every day. You don't have to use it every day, but if it's daily usage, it's a 1 month supply. And one more thing is there's 3 varieties in the US right now. So there's one that were formulated specifically for fussy dogs that doesn't have greenlet mussel or any kind of shellfish in there, just in case your dog might have an allergy. That the fussy dog is the best one. And then we also have one that's got gut health benefits, and then hip and joint. The hip and joint just has more greenlet mussel than bone broth, and the gut health has more bone broth than greenlet mussel. But as far as a combination of ingredients, I think we have the best and most natural combination of ingredients out there. So just do some research, have a read of the ingredients, have a read of the website, the Instagram page, and see what people think.
Now, what would you say to a customer who already feeds raw and wants to potentially put this on top of their raw, that that's an okay thing?
Great question. Well, that's me. I mean, for sure. So I am lucky enough to just 100% raw feed my dogs. Back home in New Zealand, I have a garage with a big chest freezer, so it's easier for me to do raw, which is not always easy for a lot of people. So when I do it, I'm like, okay, my dogs are getting good food. That food has got moisture in it, so that's great. But typically there's no blood in it. A lot of companies aren't using blood in their raw food. Some companies have taken it out of their freeze-dried food, which I think is not a great move because it's a super nutritious option. So from my perspective, I sometimes use it on the raw food. I know that it's like a protein boost. I know that it's obviously blood. And importantly, and this could be something for you guys to do a bit of Googling on, something called IGF-1, insulin-like growth factor, is a peptide that's a signaling molecule to help recovery and repair. So I know that when I put this on my dog's food, whether it's the raw food or not, I know I'm getting them IGF-1. I don't have to go and buy a separate tablet or anything else. It's all in the drink. So as a raw feeder, it adds protein, adds IGF-1, adds blood, and that's already something I'm very comfortable with. Not everyone's comfortable with the thought of blood, but the fact it's in a bottle you pour it on the dog's food, and you see what they think.
Makes it a
It's
little
easy.
easier.
Yeah, it's just easy.
Yeah, I can certainly feed it to my pets. I'm not sure I'm as brave as Aiden and Miranda are going to be, but you know, we'll see. We'll see. Game time decision here for me.
We will drink some, I think. Not
Okay.
drink, maybe a shot.
A shot of it.
Yes,
Okay,
yes.
Miranda and Aiden,
Yes.
y'all ready?
Now it's going to be live.
Yeah.
It's on film.
It's gonna be on film, and yeah, everything here is live. So we're not. There are no tricks here. I'm not pausing any videos or
Oh,
anything.
there we go. Here's the.
Here come Aiden and Miranda.
Oh, you're doing this too.
And, oh wow.
So we're not going to do any sort of special camera tricks
No.
it's
But
not
that
replaced.
might be too many, right?
So I'll just
That's
make sure
too
on
many.
camera I am pouring it in here. We're not replacing it with some sort of black currant drink or, you know.
Stand over here.
Yeah.
And we've got Aiden here who's very much into a sport, and he's got a sore knee, so we're trying to help his knee.
Yeah, he does have that.
Yep. There we go.
People.
So
Okay, Aiden.
I've
take
only
a
had
shot.
half a banana
Take the
today, so
small-
half a banana and a shot of blood.
Oh,
Ready, everyone?
Oh,
Okay.
choke
Cheers.
it back. Oh, cheers.
Cheers.
Yes.
Okay, people, this
Down the
is
hatch.
live.
Down the hatch. What are the reactions?
It's not bad.
Oh,
It just tastes like fish.
just tastes
It
like
tastes fishy.
It's very fishy. I couldn't
Yeah.
do the whole
Yeah.
shot. I'm
It
not
just
good
tastes
like
like-
that.
Yeah.
I did drink some of it, though. You can see I did.
yeah, just
I don't like fish, but it's okay.
I don't like fish, but
Yeah.
I can get it down.
Yeah.
You want to go there?
So anyone, if you're
It's
gonna,
not bad.
if you're playing lacrosse against Aiden soon, watch out because he's fueled on blood now. So yes.
Can't get the fish out of my mouth. Okay, but I did it.
Oh yeah, there's
Oh yeah, thank you.
Not bad.
Mhm.
Well, there's a first for anything. Eh?
It just tastes like fish oil. It really does.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. And so for customers out there, you can just feed this to your dog. You don't have to drink it as well. But if you're curious,
But my dogs would probably love that. I will
Yeah.
say my dogs would go crazy for that.
Yeah.
Ugh.
Okay.
I don't know that I'm
Good
signing
job.
up to take shots of that.
Nothing for me to say that.
I
Yeah,
don't
so-
think I'm signing up to take shots of that on the daily.
yes.
Mm-mm. But again, I can see how a dog would love that.
Yes.
And I do agree that the ingredients I know are vital for them.
Yes, yes, yes.
So,
The ingredients are vital. The usage is very relevant. And there's a lot of people out there who perhaps just haven't thought about, oh, is my dog well hydrated?
mhm,
I think a good analogy is if you're driving your car long term with low oil,
mhm.
the parts, it's bound to start breaking in certain areas, right? So do we really want to run our dogs on low oil, get that moisture content up? I mean, most people you see these days, they're walking around, they've got drink containers and everything. So we're really thinking about our own hydration.
Mhm.
I'd just encourage people to stop for a moment and think about their own dogs. Are they getting an ounce of moisture per pound per day? How is that? What is the source of that moisture? If it's just water, could we do a wee bit better?
What about cats?
Yeah, it's a good question. We have had that a lot. Like people who've bought it for their dogs, they've made it up, and then the cats have muscled in onto the bowl. So then naturally, like, oh, my cat's having it. Can my cat have it? So absolutely, it's good for cats. It's not a product we've formulated in marketing for cats because we want to make sure that if we sell that to a customer, it is what their animal will love.
Mhm.
And currently, out of from the cat side of things, about 80% of cats love it.
Mhm.
So that's really high from a
From a cat
acceptance.
perspective.
Everyone who knows cats, if the cat doesn't want to do it, it's not going to. But cats are very, very drawn to this. In fact, I had a comment from a lady in Seattle last week. She's got a 21-year-old shop cat, and she said, my cat went crazy for it. This is big. So, trust the animals again. But we are working on a feline-specific version that's got a couple of small tweaks in it. But we want it to be literally 100% palatable, which is a tough job for cats. So we've set ourselves that challenge. But in the meantime, if your cat did drink it, it's not a problem. It'll just give the cat hydration, which is super important for cats.
Yeah.
It'll give them protein, and it'll give them the IGF-1 component as well.
Okay.
So great for putting on top of cats' dry food too, because I think potentially more cats are fed dry food than dogs as a percentage. Dogs tend to get a bit more raw. So, cats.
Yeah. Well, and so we talk about the importance of hydration here, and that, I mean, not only most dry foods like kibble format have 10% moisture, but then your freeze drieds have 4 to 5% moisture, so
Yep.
even less moisture.
Yes.
And the importance of that moisture basis just for digestion purposes, because if you're not putting moisture in that dry food or that freeze dried food, the body is having to pull that moisture from other places in order to digest, because it's going to require that moisture. And so if your pet's not fully hydrated, that's going to be a problem. And cats are even harder. They really need that hydration with their diet.
100%.
So, you know, we preach about raw food and canned food diets here for cats a lot. But cats are such imprint feeders that can be hard. And if they're fed dry food, it's hard to transition them to anything else. So this would be a great rehydrator for that food, and putting it on the kibble. And then as they eat the kibble, it can add in the moisture, because cats cannot rehydrate their bodies by drinking water alone.
That's right. They don't tend to sort of have that switch that tends to get them to drink. Like generally as humans and the animals, they should, as a sort of first priority, we should be getting our moisture from our food. So, you know, eating food that has, like a tomato, for example, that has moisture in it. But if you eat something that's dry, like if you go to the movies and you eat popcorn, you know, you're definitely going to be drinking after that. So how would it be different for a dog or a cat if they're kind of getting something similar to a popcorn, as in a dry product that's, like Alison said, pulling moisture from the body to process that? Well, they're going to be super thirsty, and cats don't necessarily drink enough. And I do believe that there is a link to things like crystals, sturvite crystals in the bladder, strong link to poor hydration. So as a simple step, we should elevate that hydration in dogs and cats. But again, the cats choose what they want to do, and they don't necessarily always choose water. But if you give them something that they'll go, okay, yeah, that's for me.
Yeah.
It's the blood. They'll drink that. Cats are obligate carnivores. So again, blood's very much in their DNA, and it speaks to them.
Very good. Well, we are going to do a special Yappy Hour on Halloween at both store locations, and we are going to be using Totoniks and a little drink for your pets to sample. So Friday the 31st, you can hop into either location, and we're going to have some samples of Totoniks out for your pet to try.
Or yourself.
Or yourself, if you're going to brave it. I'm just going to say you might really want to make sure you like some fish oil.
And bring a toothbrush.
Yeah. Oh, I've got lunch waiting in the back for me to eat after this. So, but I do know how healthy it is for pets. And it's such a great thing. Yes. And you'll also see at up by the registers at both store locations, we do have sample packs that you can purchase, just a single pack to try and make sure your pet likes it before committing. And I think it's the fussy eating one that we have.
Yes.
And so you can test that out. I know Wendy Robb bought one today and is going to test it out with some fussy eater she has at home.
Yeah, and it's money back guarantee. So if you did buy a pack, took it home, the dog didn't like it or the cat didn't like it, then just bring it back. We'll arrange a credit. You know, I can be bold about that, because it is the most excited product or the dogs have been most excited about this than I've seen in years. Usually I would say to people, freeze-dried tripe is the thing that they can't resist. I'd put this as above freeze-dried tripe. You know, tripe is from the stomach. This is obviously blood. So those things have something in common, in that, you know, they're a bit of the organs and internal side of the animal. It's very, very much makes sense to them. So
Diane Lamb, if you're watching, you were asking me about tripe. This would be a really good addition for you to have.
And it doesn't stink as
and
much.
It doesn't. Now, I will say that it doesn't really have a terrible smell. Yes. And it's something you can keep on hand if you have one that kind of goes in and out of fussy eating spurts, because that was one of the things she keeps tripe on hand for. Yes. And I have another customer that I was telling about this, because she has a dog that tends towards anemia, so due to a medical issue. So
one other thing I'll just throw out there. I don't know if you've got customers or anyone asking about this, but we had a lady see us at Super Zoo. So this is just in August. And she has an amazing store in Florida, a holistic focused store. Now, unfortunately, I didn't know at the time, but unfortunately, her dog was quite sick at the time. It had metastatic cancer. And so she placed an order with us at Super Zoo, and I gave her some samples. And obviously, she flew home, and her dog wasn't really eating much. You know, the treatment's quite harsh, and her appetite had gone. And in my previous job, we would normally recommend tripe to these
Mhm.
dogs to get that appetite happening. So her dog went from not really eating to eating 3 times a day.
Oh, wow.
She mentioned that it even chased a wee squirrel. And her holistic vet colleague that she'd known for 30 years was super impressed with just how much it helped the appetite. So if anyone's dealing with that sort of thing or really needs a bit of appetite support, we've got the product called Fussy Eater,
Mhm.
but all of them have the venison blood, and so all of them will be equally palatable. The Fussy Eater just doesn't have any green lip mussel, like I said before. So if you do have a dog that's got an allergy to shellfish, then the Fussy Eater is a perfect one.
Perfect. Well, great. Any last tidbits of wisdom you want to add?
No, the last thing I would say, look, if it makes sense from a dog's perspective mainly,
Mhm.
give it a go.
Yeah, and I definitely think it does.
Mm.
A lot of the palatants that are sprayed on a lot of dry foods have a blood basis.
Yes,
They
Yes.
just don't have the hydration addition.
that's right. That's
so
right. That's right. And I'd just say, look, if I'm not sure what you think about it, but we like to use in New Zealand. Maybe we swear a wee bit, but we call this a bloody brilliant idea.
it is.
Mm.
It is that for sure. And we're so excited that we're finally able to work out getting it in. And I'm so excited you were able to be here today so that we could get this filmed for everybody, because I've been really excited about this product for a long time, and we're really proud to be able to
Thank
carry
you.
it.
And we're dedicated to the well-being of animals and supporting partners like yourself who also are. Fun fact, I'm not sure if you know much about New Zealand, usually people say, Lord of the Rings. So thank you for the tourism, because agriculture and tourism are our big things. But last week, I drove pretty much from Los Angeles to Seattle, and I saw
wow.
partners along the way. And when I dropped off my rental car, it was 1,600 miles, which for folks in the US is probably nothing, but that is essentially 1.5 times the length of New Zealand. So I drove the length of New Zealand and halfway back last week. And I'll do that anytime if it's going to help dogs.
Yeah. Wow.
And cats. Sorry.
Help all our furry friends for sure.
Yeah.
Wow. We're super excited to carry this. Definitely make plans to come and see us on Halloween and let your pet sample this product. And again, if you can't come on Halloween, we have samples up by the register. You can buy a single sleeve and get a nice little sample of it. And if you're really feeling brave and you don't mind the flavor of some fish oil, you can take a shot of it too.
Yeah. It's good protein. Why have a whey-based protein drink when you can have a blood-based one?
I don't know, for the delicate palate, I suppose. Well, thank you guys for joining us. I hope you've learned something today, and come in and see our Totoniks and get a nice little taste tester.
Could I just say, quickly, Totoniks, the name Toto, most people Toto, you'll think Wizard of Oz.
Sure.
But in New Zealand, the indigenous people have a language, te reo Māori, the Māori language, and the word toto means blood. And tonic, old school health tonics, which if I'm not mistaken, I think the origin of Coca-Cola, I could be mistaken here, but I think Coca-Cola was originally sold as like a health tonic.
It was, yeah. Also had cocaine in it.
It's definitely not that now, but so we're bringing you a health tonic. It doesn't have a lot of sugar and it doesn't have cocaine in it, but it's very good for dogs.
Well, thank you so much for joining us today. And I hope you guys have enjoyed this edition of our Facebook Lives, and we look forward to seeing you soon.
Bye-bye.
Bye, guys.